we will bring about the Master race.
Master!
One able to survive, or even
Thrive.
in the wasteland. As long as there are differences, we will
Tear ourselves apart!
fighting each other. We need one race,
Race!
one goal,
Goal!
one people to move forward to our destiny.
What's up, Stir Sticks? It's your boy Mike Javale. Today I'm here with Gruesome Bubbles
Hello.
and Noble Truth.
Hey, I'm walking there.
And we are the
Cauldron
Boys.
Whoop, whoop.
If you remember, we brewed the Mothman. If you're new to the channel, please go check that video out. So we brewed the Mothman before the Master Transcendent was spoiled. Today we are going over our Master Transcendent list and how it evolved from the Mothman.
Yeah, so it's like
the cocooning process.
the cocooning process. I mean, it's pretty clear that the Master was, when spoiled, was a better choice for cEDH. The Mothman's great and a lot of fun and really neat, but the Master has this ability that's a little bit, that makes him a little bit more better. You can tap him to put a target creature in a graveyard that was milled this turn out of the battlefield under your control. So you could do things like get people's Razzacats or Doss's Oracle even, or Docksides, or whatever you can manage to mill from somebody else. So it gives them...
Potentially stops different reanimation loops if they're trying
That's
to
true,
do
too.
that.
It's just overall got a better secondary value. However, he's still a food chain commander, just like Mothman. They both still run off the food chain loop, and they both still have the same result: infinite mill through rad counters.
We just go about it a slightly different way with the Master versus the Mothman.
Right. So going back to the lists, here's the cards that got cut out of Mothman: Dark Ritual, and you'll notice Cabal Ritual, because we turned out a turbo, and we realized a little bit of solid mana production with value is what was working better. We got rid of a little removal with Endurance, Force of Vigor, Mox Diamond, because we're only running like 27 lands. Exuberant Aberration was great. I think we replaced that with Phoenix. We'll get to that. Cacophony was really a lot of fun, but it ended up it's sitting in the hand a lot. Neoform was a good tutor. Dust Mantle was part of a combo piece, but not essential. Gyre Sage, he was great in Mothman, but over here he didn't have all that 1/1 synergy. Ashiok was the same thing, just didn't really fit too well over here because you're exiling graveyards and not being able to play out of them. So it's counterproductive. A couple other cuts here. Kitten Loops were just not really working for us the greatest. A couple Reanimates, Deluge, because we don't want to kill our creatures. We're not on a little small creature count. Now it's come to the point where we'll have to use different removal. And same thing with March.
We also took Final Parting out because we're not on the Cauldron. Sad to say, but we're not.
We cut Final Parting, like you said, we're not on the combo loops anymore. It's a 5-cost tutor. Just wasn't necessary.
No.
Some additions, like I said, we added Phoenix. Just the ability to turn all your creatures, the ability to mill, turns the Master on across the board. Keeps our Reanimate strategy going if we wanted it to. It's an indestructible enchantment until it's a creature. So it's not going to be destroyed. Fabricate, because we went into, we ended up adding this combo as a main combo line. We added was Cephalid Illusionist. We added a Cephalid Breakfast. So it's basically Mothman with Cephalid Breakfast. If you don't know how the combo works, is whenever Cephalid Illusionist is targeted, the target of a spell or ability, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Lo and behold, equipping isn't a targeting a spell or ability. So you can choose to target Lightning Greaves and equip Cephalid Illusionist. You'll mill 3, equip something else, equip it again, all for free, and mind you, mill your entire library.
It does require one additional creature.
One additional creature, true. Which allows us to, as you can see, which is funny because it also gives the creature haste, so you can go to like Mothman or Master and use him. or your mana dork, you can go to your master and use him in response to all this. So you could literally just go Greaves, Illusionist, Master, and then do your whole library, and then just reanimate with Master equipped with the Greaves, reanimate your Oracle. GG.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
So, and we gave Hermit Druid a line to back up in there because there's no basics. He's just another way to do that. He's lost a lot of favor in cEDH as of late, but here he seems to work pretty well. Necropotence for card draw. Tyvar, because he does this neat thing where he gives you the ability to use the master the turn he comes out as if he has haste. It also does a mill thing. So if you were to get 2 creatures, you could mill and return with the master and him. Mm-hmm. So you could get 2 creatures potentially. It could untap the master for multiple creatures. He can do a lot for us here. And he's only 3 mana. Defense of the Heart's an auto win. You guys remember how? So with Defense of the Heart, if that pops, you go and get this guy, Spellseeker. He'll come into play. And Thassa's Oracle. Those are your 2 creatures. Spellseeker hits, you go get your Tainted Pact or Demonic Consultation, whatever, so be it. And then Thassa's Oracle will hit play, and you cast that in response. So it's literally a win con built in. I added Brain Freeze because why not storm off and mill yourself and other people? Lotus Petal's in here. I don't think there's going to be a lot of use for that, to be honest. Brain Freeze is just an all-around pretty good card. I'm not...
It also stops top deck tutors.
It does.
You know, so
People
like,
do.
it is a little bit of interaction too. It may be more interaction in this deck than it is for like Lion's Eye Diamond LED loop. You know,
Interaction wise, right?
yeah. So I mean, it's not like it's something that we'd have to take out. It's something definitely strong.
It potentially also adds to if we hit a stopping point and we can't continue, but we have the potential of brain freezing ourselves with 5 copies, and then we might be able to hit an actual reanimate target that is helpful.
Another thing it does, too, is if you do run your Master Loop or your Scourge or Familiar or your Infinite Food Chain Loop, and then cast that, you have just recasted, you'll have infinite counters to Brain Freeze. So you'll be able to mill the whole table and give them all infinite rad counters. Win more, I guess.
Yeah.
So it does work on top of you counting your food chain casts.
It also works as a backup Master Transcendent. For some reason, somebody stole your Master. Brain Freeze. And if you're food chain looping, it's still casting, raising that storm. And if you just have 2 extra mana to Brain Freeze, that's infinite Brain Freezes. You still got it.
Yeah, he's an alternate line outside of that. Really nice. I added Bloom Tender, I added Phyrexian Tower because it felt right. Windsor Rebuke, which is a really neat bounce spell that does a little mill attached to it. So it's basically a psych. It's a baby psych. It's a baby rift with the little mill step. All right, let's go over to the deck.
Of course.
Mutants are best equipped to deal with the world today.
Who else?
The ghouls?
Please.
Normals?
They brought nuclear death to us all. This will be the age of mutants. Mutants.
And take a look down through it. And then I believe we had some additions to discuss. We'll put them in considering and go from there. Birds of Paradise, Deathrite Shaman, Manadork, combo piece, card advantage. I like this here because we need to get it any way we can. We really do need some advantage. Gilded Drake is just an all-around staple. You know what that does? Especially if your deck is reliant on your commander and it gets draked. Mm-hmm. Shredder, card advantage, plus it... wait a second. Connive can put the card in the graveyard, right?
It's not mill. Connive is not mill. It's draw and discard.
It's draw and discard, right? Okay.
And Surveil, I think, might be.
Yeah, and Explore too.
Explore, I believe, would also be.
Yeah, it's from your graveyard to your library. So just to clarify on those, Ballmaster because it's too good. I love Sylvan Caryatid. It's just run big, beefy, busty, hexproof Manadork that gives you any color for 2. WinCon.
That's sort
Yeah, that's a sexy Oracle too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I have that baby. I can't believe it's worth that much. Spirit Guide because it's the best. Scourge is a combo piece. Witness. I love this copy, but must have, right? Oppo Agent, Spell Seekers at a combo line, plus early game can just get you whatever you want. Combo piece, Metamorph for copying, and Phoenix.
So, you had talked about Phoenix earlier, and you had mentioned that he's indestructible. Well, we know how cool indestructible is because everybody plays the Wonder Ring, right? And it's such a pain in the ass to get rid of.
Gotta sack it. Right? Steal it. And he's not a creature until then. Plus, mind you, until he's a creature, he's an enchantment. So he's even like less likely to get targeted.
He's more protected, remaining an enchantment instead of a creature and indestructible.
Right. So, like, what can you really do other than exile and enchantment? There's not many things that can do that in this format.
I have been exploring some options. They're kind of bad mana wise. One, Barrier Breach. It targets up to 3 for 3. At its floor, you can only hit 1. It also has cycling 2, so you can get some card advantage out of it if you need to. But I don't think it's anywhere near where it needs to be. But
and Touch of the Spirit Realm, you can permanently exile with that if you want to hard cast it as an O-ring, I guess, which I don't see very often. But there's another way to pop that up. But other than that, I mean, he stays and he takes all the other creatures, gives them the ability to tap, to mill. Even the Master himself. So,
in order to make him a creature, it also would require like half our creatures. So I don't think he'll ever be a creature. I just realized that we don't have.
He probably won't be much of a creature.
Yeah, ever. So we don't have to worry about the creature removal.
So, and even more so, that's fine. That's fine. So, he's not, he's there doing other things, which makes every other creature, able to abuse the Master further. Same with Reanimate, Tutor, Finale, this Transmute artifact, gorgeous. We're going to get to artifacts. We have a lot of them, and we're also now a little bit more artifact dependent. Fabricate being another tutor for an artifact. I love that art. Here's a card I added recently, Witherbloom Command. You guys have any thoughts, opinions on it? Aside from it being slow at sorcery speed?
So target player mills 3, you return
Choose 2. Choose
Destroy non-creature, non-land permanent mana value 2 or less. -3, -1. Target opponent loses 2, you gain 2.
There's some utility there. There's definitely some utility there.
Yeah, that's a lot of utilities. It kills an Esper Sentinel.
So 2 mana
for 1.
2 mana, 2 different color pips for choose 2. That to me that sounds insane because I mean it's 1 mana per thing. Like that's pretty good return on your investment.
That's pretty good return on investment.
Mana wise, it's 1 for 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the mill 3, that's a good one because you can mill 3, then you get a land, so you're getting a land anyway. And if Master's online, there's a way to just dig something out of him.
Awesome.
Yeah, you could top deck Tutor, which I just realized we don't have. Ignore that. Never mind. I don't see any top deck tutors.
Destroy non-creature, non-land permanent. That's or 2 or less. That's really good. I know it's sorcery speed. It is what it is. And the 3/1 kills a lot of things too.
But I mean, if you want to get rid of it during your turn,
like a Bowmaster.
Bowmaster, Esper Sentinel.
I don't think the sorcery speed's much of a downside here because if we're using it to eliminate stacks creatures, or even it, just
stacks permanents.
Stacks permanents. I mean, what is it? Blind Obedience. If they
deafening silence, rule of law.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. If we're using it to, maybe stacks out the rest of the table and then pass out during our turn, we can pay the 2 and then kind of pop off there. That's really good. That's really good.
Plus, yeah, the 2 mana is not really doesn't seem very taxing.
Nah.
Like you could be able to do that, swing the table in your favor a little bit. That may allow you to bust off. And at worst case, it's gonna get you a couple cards in the graveyard.
I mean, if you look at it like March of Swirling Mist and stuff like that, I mean, how much mana would you put into March of Swirling Mist? to get rid of
Probably
to get rid of
probably
multiple things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
blue cards ideally, but yeah, if you had to hard pay, you could.
yeah. So I mean, ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's a
It's a
really
good card.
yeah. I think it's a really solid ad.
Yeah, solid utility here. Meme and Yogwill, because who doesn't want to play from graveyards, especially us. I like both of these here.
We're milling them
yeah.
to definitely get access to their yard.
Yeah, and a meme is a win con in its own. I've won games with that on the back of this card a few times. Yogwill because it's like our version of Breach. Calling Ritual because you already know how good this card.
Hate this card.
You know it's my absolute jam.
You
always set it on fire. I burn the world with this card.
You may have 4 mana available. If you have 4 mana, that's the card you're playing.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
That's for damn sure.
You would make a land drop to play that card.
I'd play a rock just to destroy it and play that card.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I have. So we were actually
one of our previous games.
Side segue, we were talking about somebody calling ritual. You could use like dual caster and copy their calling ritual and destroy everything and get all the mana.
Ooh, in response, I'm gonna copy that.
Yeah, dual caster. That's funny.
Dual caster
typical counter spells.
Good card, bro.
Such a good card. Well, because we have finesse using it outside of the combo. Dual caster, it's a standalone amazing card. Just for the shit that you can do with it. Oh, you want to add noise? I'll add noise. You want to freaking peer? I want to peer. You want to counter? I want to counter spell. So dual caster does a lot. Speaking of counters, let's count these before we go through. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't really count that. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 feels good. 8 feels good.
We're in a vampire tutor. Greg?
Yeah, we do have a vampiric and a mystic. So Veil's like a quasi counter spell almost. And it serves the same purpose. Our instants are only at 20. Seems like a lot, but it's not. And they're all pretty much utility. I don't see anything over here outside of the multi-color scheme that you wouldn't normally see. Born is sick here because we have Necropotence. Why not Born?
Always that chance to win in the end step.
That's like that's almost like it's almost like Citadel, isn't it?
If if there was a big counter war and you weren't a part of it, and then you like, all right, Born upon a win. All right, cool. Food chain.
Yeah. That'd be funny. Or somebody wheeled and you had Born and you just cast Born right before the wheel. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, now let's go and see what's coming my way.
I think you've done that. I've wheeled and you've Born in response. Thankfully, you didn't draw them to shit.
No, I didn't.
Well,
one counter spell that got played around.
Like the other day, I think Greg wheeled and I played. Was it Culling Ritual? I played Culling Ritual. I was just like, yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
I think you netted 7 or 8. That was a pretty good one. You remember that.
It allowed you to win that game. Wheeled you into a Calling Ritual. Screw you.
That's right. Wheels always screw the guy who's right before you.
Oh, yeah.
If you do a wheel, whoever's last in that line, eat dirt. Rift must run. Pact must run. Winds we talked about. Relic must run. Okay, so in standard instance, this is what I meant by 15 artifacts. We're running quite a bit here. Chrome Box, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Alter the Brood we kept because there's just what we're looking to mill people. We could win the food chain loop. There's another way to do that. So for a 1-drop, if you drop this on turn 1, it's pretty good. Just as good as like a turn 1 Mezorb.
Mm-hmm. Mezorb. I'm so glad we kept Mezorb. I mean, it makes no sense to cut it.
So it's all fast mana here too. Lightning Greaves, Mezorb. It made no sense to cut Mesmeric Orb. It's just too damn. It's brutal.
The fact that it also hits our opponents, so like it really does turn off top deck tutors because it happens before the draw step.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shuts off top deck tutors during somebody else's turn. You would have to do it after the mill, before the draw. So at that split second, which means they're down mana on their turn, which is what you want anyway.
Yep.
Big sad. Isn't that big sad?
But if you play it after somebody's top deck tutor, they're crying.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then Greaves we talked about because all around utility. Now we have things like Saga, Fabricate, Transmute Artifact. We can go and get these Greaves if we need them. And they're a combo piece. They turn Master on right away because honestly, that's all the Master really needs is haste. And he's kind of already a problem because he gives his only inherent issue is that he gives people the rad counters, but doesn't have haste to deal with it, to do anything about it. So you have to get his second ability has to be abused from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We also should probably change it from turning the Master on. That definitely sounds like some S&M shit.
Well, it is.
we're here for S&M.
Understood. Understood, sir.
It's disgusting, and I'm here for it.
That's where you were supposed to jump in. That's your thing.
Shoot. This is awesome. This is both us.
I'm not after the world yet. When I turn your fellow vault dwellers into
Mutants.
my forces will be too strong for any to stand against. But don't worry. You won't care. Care.
All right, so pretty much Felwar Stone, Basalt, Wishclaw, One Ring. So Basalt and Grim were relics of Displacer Kitten that I had cut. So I can see making these some swaps.
Swapping Monolith, not Basalt, because you could... Monolith doesn't let you untap it for the mana it makes, but Basalt does. So if we have Mezorb and Basalt, we can infinitely mill ourselves doing the strategy anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, infinitely mill ourselves. Perfect.
Grim costs 4 to untap. It only makes 3. So that one would make sense to swap.
And then an enchantments, Blood Chief, because that still goes infinite with our Mind Crank, which was other half of that Dusk Battle Guild Mage we cut. This combo is old school, but both of these are cheap. And when they hit early game, they are oppressive. People like to look down on it, but you get a turn 1 Blood Chief and it's back on by somebody's turn 2.
Mind Crank is an extra punishment for our Orcish Bowmaster too.
That's funny. I like it. Yes,
So,
I haven't really.
That is hilarious.
So it's like if you have Mind Crank on the field and somebody threatens a wheel, and then they put a wheel on the stack and you flash out Bowmasters, well then now shit just got really real.
Proliferate sad counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely proliferate the set.
Remora's a must. Food Chain, that's a combo piece. Necropotence, because card advantage. If at worst case you just refill your hand, so what? If you have Born Upon a Win, it can be broken much further. Ristic, Defense of the Heart, again, that's a 2-piece win con. Spellseeker, Thassa's Oracle, Spellseeker lands first. You go and get your Tainted Pact. And then Thassa's Oracle hits, cast Tainted Pact, GG. 28 lands. They're all pretty essential. Coliseum we kept because that's such a good card here. Adds a little mill to him. We added Phyrexian Tower because we might want that mana. We might need it. It might help us. Who knows? Worst case scenario.
I like being
It's
on
there.
I really like being on 28 lands because it means we can mulligan aggressively.
Yeah, I think you're right. It means we can feel more confident.
Try to
mulliganing
find
out.
the best hand possible gives us a better chance of for sure hitting our lands. I like it too.
Reflecting Pool. Do we like Reflecting Pool here? I think we kept it. We'll just keep it. It's 3 color. And everything else looks pretty solid here.
Oh, please. What sort of plan might that be?
So, there's the updates on the deck. Talked about some of the different combo lines we're running now. That's different. The goal is to try to get your Caster Thassa's Oracle or mill the whole table through Food Chain. And the 2 ways you do that are either Druid or Cephalid Breakfast. Mill your library, reanimate Oracle, or tutor up the combo pieces, or food chain, scourge, or mist hollow, and recast the master and mill the entire table out through rad counters, or blood chief and mind crank, blood chief ascension and mind crank, which is a bit harder to turn on, but both synergize really well with the whole mill concept. Now, this isn't a mill deck, but it does abuse that strategy.
Yeah, we are abusing the strategy of mill. We are not a mill focused deck. It's
Correct.
we definitely take advantage of it.
One thing I want to point out about our finale is that Phoenix inside the deck is a creature.
Yeah, we can always go get Phoenix for sure. And if we make huge ass creatures, Phoenix is better.
And there's no worldly tutor here.
Swap the Grim Monolith for Worldly Tutor. We found our swap. That
because he's still tutorable.
Top deck tutor. And I just said we don't have top deck tutors. What was I on?
Oh, world.
What's cool about Finale of Devastation though is it puts it to the battlefield, so we can
finale.
Yeah.
So does Invasion and Cord, and we're not on those right now, and I like them.
So Finale of Devastation for Nokish Bymaster, ETB effect. Finale of Devastation for Thassa's Oracle, ETB effect. Hold priority. It's so nasty. Finale of Devastation for a Gilded Drake.
Well, Finale, you're right. Could really just be 4 mana. Go get your Thassa's Oracle. Which is
4 mana. Go get a Gilded Drake. Now that thing's mine, and you didn't. I don't have to specify what I'm searching for. Either you counter it, or you don't.
Yeah, you just get the mana cost. You get the X value. Mm-hmm. So you got to take a guess at which 2 mana thing I'm going to get out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 targets for us. They don't even know how many we have, but 9 2-mana targets. Yeah, all of which are good.
So, a rough breakdown. Hermit Druid. Give that thing haste, and that's... There's no Dread Return in here. That's what this is missing, is a Dread Return. Because that was the other part of the Hermit Druid thing. You just got to have a Dread Return to be able to 3-cast him back.
Yes. Let's do Hermit Druid. Not Hermit
because
Druid.
It's either cut Hermit Druid or add Dread Return.
Add Dread Return. That's what I was trying to say.
So, where's our cut going to be?
Refreshing.
Oh, it went to considering, so just one moment. I think they both did.
Yeah, Grim's still in. Oh no,
Grim's not in the list.
Basalt is in.
So we're up to 101.
My scientists assure me that nothing is wrong. What do you say to that?
Say.
Well, how about this? Before we move on to more cuts, was there anything that anybody had thought about that might have been overlooked here that we should probably consider? Considering?
The only things I looked at were abusing the tap effect of the master, but we are going a different route, so we don't need to do that unless we all agree to look at abusing untapping the master.
I think we need to focus on just winning.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the rest of this list is good.
The rest, the thing the master does is what makes him better than the Mothman, I think. Just for the utility aspect of it.
I think if you were going to run the Mothman as the commander and you still had the Master Transcendent in the list, I think you would look at that, because I think you would look at untapping, because it gives you more of a mid-range option, which, Mothman Mothman is even more mid range than the Master Transcendent, and Master Transcendent is like mid range.
Kind of. And I like that he's like a 2-card. He's a win con with 2 cards, like Frank is. Except he's not as good as Cauldron Ballista, but it's Greaves and
Frank is a 1-card win con, really. If
Cauldron and
parting. You just have to. It's final parting. Frank and final parting.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of true, but you still have to cast Cauldron. But
yeah.
and the same thing I mean though, but like you still need to get Greaves and Cephalid Illusionist, which is only 4 mana and 2 cards. So I guess it's a 9-card 9 mana win con, which seems or 8 cost win con, which is that's a lot.
But with so obviously our number 1 win is going to be Thassa's Oracle, right? Like that's our number 1. That's our fastest win. So if we know we got to go fast, we're going to do Thassa's Oracle wins. If it's
I mean, you could get a Greaves, Hermit Druid, and any 2 dorks, a dork and a dork. Early game, get the master out and literally just activate Hermit Druid, burn your whole library, equip Greaves on your master, reanimate your Oracle or Dread Return.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there is potential for early game bursts here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like we're completely slow because we have fast win lines in it. Because, you know, mid-range decks need to be able to go into the long game, and they need to be able to, you know, take that early win too.
Yeah. Well, mid-range typically defined as a deck that poses threats and interaction and tutors and land advantage until you get to 4 to 6 mana and then begin posing threats. And I think that 4 to 6 mana mark is about where we're at here.
Mm-hmm.
About that much is we become a real problem. There's no, we don't have any rituals because other than culling, but 3 black isn't going to do a whole lot for us in this deck.
Nope.
So I don't think, or Cabal. So I don't think that was the best route for that.
Making excess amount of 1 color is basically colorless in this deck. We don't have too many pips in 1 color. They're all either single or split between multiple.
Yeah, look, it's I mean, 37% blue, but the rest are all pretty equal, and that's including colorless.
Are there? There's no blue rituals, so we're good.
No. Land distribution's pretty good, and the mana distribution's pretty good.
1.5 isn't a bad
1.55, not here.
It's not bad. I mean, we are on counter magic. We do have quite a bit of instances and sorceries and instances, and we have Born Upon the Wind. So even our sorceries are really even.
Citadel was a heavy consideration, but I think Necropotence might be better.
I like Necropotence better because
here
you can win in your end step here. Yeah,
and just keep just keep your hand full. Your hand full right from the get-go. Yeah. Can't be destroyed or activated abilities can't be activated or what. I guess you can still use the ability, but you can still play. But I mean, whatever shuts down artifacts. It's not destroyed by artifacts. Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're looking for 1 cut.
Yeah. I actually have no idea. This list is freaking solid.
That's pretty good. See, because we got our bounce spells. This is our, instead of Chain of Vapor, which we don't have, Winds of Rebuke is our choice here.
I keep seeing a card, thinking cut it, reread it, and I'm like, no, that has to stay. All of this is good.
I'm almost thinking one of the mana rocks.
Fucking list.
Yeah, we're not on mana rock combos to go infinite, so a mana rock would make sense.
Treasure Vault.
We don't have a way to do infinite mana that we can use for Treasure Vault because our food chain combo is only for creatures.
Treasure Vault creatures.
I like that.
I mean, we could add Kinnan in this and have another line to win.
You would.
But what does infinite mana do for us?
If we had a Kennen, Kennens.
I would do Thrasios over Kennen.
That's true.
Well, Kinnan would make infinite mana. Thrasios is a sink.
We already have Basalt, so Thrasios. I mean, Kennen immediately would go infinite colorless, and Thrasios is also
Colorless?
card advantage because if it's not a land, and it's all colorless, if it's not a land, you basically get your.
So does Kinnan and Thrasios slow us down a little though?
They do. They don't fit what we're trying to do like at all.
All right. They're good in the color wheel, but not here, right? As much for what we have going on.
The only thing
Felwar Stone or Arcane Signet. Arcane Signet.
The only thing Kennen really does in this list for us is make infinite colors mana, and we'd much rather just be like, all right, I'm gonna tap Basalt and untap Basalt with a Mesmeric Orb out.
True. Yeah. I'm on the line of cutting the Treasure Vault because it brings us to 27 lands, which is also still good. Mm-hmm. And we don't make a ton of excess non-creature mana.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Sit at 100 cards.
You must be joking.
Well, gentlemen, I think we're about done. So
you are lying. It will be the last lie that you tell.
All right, so going through, we did a rough count. There's about 8 different combo lines in this deck that we can run through. Greg, you want to tell us about them?
Our 8 combos are Eternal Scourge, Food Chain, clear. Food Chain, Mistral Griffin, clear. 2 Food Chain loops. You just got to have the master. Cephalid and Greaves, Cephalid Breakfast, that's and another creature. It's 3. Hermit Druid Thassa, Dread Return, that's 4. Demonic Consult is Thassa is 5. Tainted Pact, Thassa 6. Blood Chief, Mind Crank 7, and Basalt Monolith and Mezorb is 8.
I wanted to say combos. Hermit Druid, Greaves, and the Master.
That
is 9.
The 2 other requisites. Yeah.
There's another combo that's accounted. So there's like 9, 10 potential combo lines in here to win.
Correct.
So it's a pivot.
Got a good amount of combos to pivot to, yeah.
All our decks can pivot really well, and I think that's a really great aspect of what we do, different than other people. Like some people streamline, and I get it, and sometimes that's better, especially in like a turbo Naz and stuff. Like you want to do one thing really well, but the ability to pivot in the meta that we're in, I think it's reflective of in our deck building.
So our meta is kind of weird. Like right now, it feels like we're going through a pretty heavy stacks meta, and from what I'm hearing from everybody else, is like everybody else is already out of the stacks meta and like working their way back into turbo. So I feel like we're like our meta is a little bit behind curve, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just our meta.
I think a lot of it, what it is in the LGSs and the tournament settings, is that there's timed rounds. 90 minutes.
Stacks pieces in tournaments because nobody.
Some decks do.
Some, but not the extent of a real stacks. There's stacks pieces, but it's not going to be a full stacks because the time limit matters.
Yeah,
in the tournament.
90 minutes, right? So,
speaking of stacks decks, y'all go check out our Shurikai list.
Link in the description. All right, I think we're ready to get out of here with this. I think we've covered everything. How the Master's pretty dope, and we can't wait to show you some content with him. Take us out, Mike.
Guys, thank y'all so much for checking out the video. Don't forget, like, follow, subscribe. If there's anything y'all saw different or wrong in the comments, please let us know. We would love to hear that.
Tell us what we missed.
If you have any suggestions for a commander that you would like to see us brew, definitely include that down in the comments. Take a look at them all.
Guys, for additional content, please come check us out on TikTok.
We're bussing. We're bussing.
We are doing crazy stuff over there. We all edit. We all show our potential. Can you find the key to see who edited what?
There's a trick. There is a tell. Oh, also, we got giveaways. So if you don't go over there on TikTok, you're not going to know about them.
Exactly.
Currently, we have a giveaway running for a custom art piece. That'll be our first giveaway. We have plans for more at different subscriber amounts. We will definitely be doing more. We'll be adding more and more to it. The giveaways are
giveaways forever. cEDH
We just got to get to our areas.
We're launching season 2, Tournament Eternal on Ironborn Gaming Discord. That's our Discord. Our free to play with prize support, cEDH League, starting soon. Come on over and check out the details on Ironborn Gaming. Yeah, that's how we do it over here. We want you to join, play, and win.
Absolutely. So, guys, I want to thank y'all so much for coming and watching. Please don't forget, like, follow, subscribe. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, forget about it.
See ya.
Later.
I don't think that I can continue
Continue?
to have done the things I have done in the name of progress and healing. It was madness. I can see that now. Madness. Madness? There is no hope. Leave now. Leave while you still have
Hope.
Oh. Noble dies.